Hi guys, how are you today? Thank you for joining Trinity Alliance Group of Buffalo, Inc. for our presentation of how to flip a house, phase 4. I am your host, Delisa Robinson, CEO and owner of Trinity Alliance Group of Buffalo. Today's session, yesterday we've gone through 3 sessions so far. The first session was the securing the building. The second session was the I can't even remember. That's so crazy. The second session was I know we did rough work, securing the building, and basically the demolition. I can't remember exactly right now for the life of me. I can't remember what we called it. How about that? So I am Lisa Robinson, your CEO and owner of Trinity Alliance Group. I've been in these real estate streets for 22 years. Started out as a portfolio builder, meaning I was a landlord. That's how I started in this business. My very first house was a duplex, and every house after that was a duplex until I moved into the house where I am now. Social media marketing advocate. I love social media, even the bad parts of it, because even in everything bad, there's some good. In everything good, there's some bad. So you have to take what you can get and make the most of it. Trinity Alliance Group of Buffalo, we are Tag 716, as everyone has affectionately nicknamed us. We're a full-service real estate investment company. That means we sell retail, wholesale. We do investments where we put our money into other people's projects and we allow them to put money into our projects. We have real estate investment lending, where we can originate the paperwork for your hard money loans, private lenders, and such. Even some traditional mortgages. We do have relationship with a couple of lenders who do the traditional mortgages for those looking to buy a home to live in. We also do portfolio building and management. Do not confuse that management section with property management. We are not in that game. Portfolio building is where we help people build a cash flowing real estate portfolio so that they can have the life that they want instead of the life that they're forced to live. Cash free, financially free. And as somebody said to me yesterday, financially free doesn't mean filthy rich. It just means your income can take care of all your bills. If you got $3,000 worth of bills, you got $5,000 worth of income, you are financially free. And business consulting, yes, we can help businesses with their marketing strategies. We can help business with their formation. We can consult and see where and when and how things are not going correctly. We especially like I said, we are huge advocates over here of the social media marketing. I think I prefer social media marketing than I do to standard brick and mortar advertising. So with no further ado and everything you need to know about me, let's get started. Phase 3. I'm sorry, it's actually phase 4. And it's we have walls. It's time for us to put our walls in. Build that wall. Build that wall. Remember that? Thought I'd give you guys some humor. Before you build your walls, though, you need to insulate them. So insulation is first. There are 3 main forms of insulation. There's a fiberglass batting. And if you guys are familiar with the Pink Panther, that's that Pink Panther pink insulation stuff. It just looks like a bunch of cotton stuck between 2 pieces of paper. That is fiberglass batting. It can be itchy, so make sure your people are wearing protective coverings and eye protection and hand and gloves, because you're going to be handling this a lot. It is thermal resistant, meaning it is heat and cold resistant. It reduces sound through walls and ceilings. It can be fire resistant because they've recently removed the formaldehyde from it. Yeah, it used to have formaldehyde in it, believe it or not. And sometimes instead of the fiberglass, you will get people who use the recycled denim. And the reason why everybody says, oh, recycled denim, jeans? Yep, jeans. And the reason why is, think about it. When you get cold, and we're in Buffalo, so we know cold. When we get cold, we put on a pair of jeans. We might put on some leggings or some tights or something up under those jeans, ladies, some men, but we want to keep that. We're trying to keep warm. Jeans, they use recycled denim and it is so effective, but it does cost a little bit more. Then there's the blow-in insulation. I don't know if you've ever driven by a home and you've seen a hose stuck inside the home. They literally cut a small hole and they blow insulation into the wall. This is because they don't want to take the wall down. Walls do not have to be removed in order to blow it in. It's easy to get into tight spaces when you blow in, like attics and crawl spaces, and it reduces sound a lot. That's why most of the people do insulation, is to reduce sound and to reduce heat and cold. And then there's the spray foam. And if you've ever seen HGTV, the majority of the people who renovate the homes on HGTV, they always use the spray foam. Here's why. It is increased energy efficiency because it expands. When they spray that, it expands to fit the confines between the two studs. So it bubbles up and then it spreads out. So it's airtight almost. It's like 99% airtight. So it's increased energy efficient. It resists mold and mildew. And whoever did this did mildew wrong, okay? Mildew. No shrinking or shifting due to it fits right between the studs. Once it dries, it's hardened and it's there, and there's no shrinking from that because it fits right into the studs. Drywall. Everybody has drywall. And here's why. First of all, make sure whoever is doing your drywall measures it correctly. Walls can move. Walls can shift. Walls can be crazy. The last flip we did, thank God it's finally under contract, is the walls were already crooked. So we had to cut and piece together drywall to make it fit into and make it look like one wall, even though it was like 4 or 5 different pieces of drywall to fit into a certain section because the wall was severely uneven. So you gotta make sure it's measured correctly to avoid having to piece it together like that. Fast installation. It is so quick to install drywall. I didn't say finish it, I said install it. It's cost effective. A standard size drywall board is about 8x4, which is 32 square feet. And it costs about maybe $15 a board. Now, it used to be really, really cheap. It used to be like $6, $7 a board. Now, since all the hurricanes and the natural disasters we've had over the past few years, it's increased the price along with everything else. It is fire resistant due to the gypsum. Gypsum that is inside the drywall material can prevent fires from spreading. So that's why they say it's resistant. The bad thing is drywall is not waterproof, which can lead to mold and mildew. If you've ever seen mold and mildew in your drywall, you know what I'm talking about. If you live in an area, if you have basements, if you have a basement, or if you have just anywhere where water has been, you can see it's soaked into the drywall, almost like a straw, and it's soaked up into the drywall, and you can see where that mold and mildew is. Can you fix it? Yes, you can cut that part out, fix the mildew problem, and just reattach drywall to that section, but that's a lot of work to do. Now, I just saw a question, so I'm going to answer that really quickly. And yes, the question is, do walls shift because of the foundation shifting? Yes and no. Walls can shift for many reasons, but that is the main reason. Walls can shift because a house settles. You have to understand, a house is built on, and I don't care what type of foundation you have, a house is built on dirt. So when a house settles into the ground, and it takes a while, you'll notice it, it'll shift a little bit. That could make a wall shift. That could make you have a crack somewhere in your home or your foundation. And people have seen this many, many times. So yes, you can have it where because the foundation shifts, the wall shifts. Sometimes the wall just wasn't erected correctly. And remember I told you the other day about your framing work having to be done correctly? That's when we have that whole where they're piecing together the joist and this, that, and the other. If that stuff moves, or if a screw comes loose or it's not done properly, your drywall can shift, which means your wall will shift, which means if it's attached to a ceiling, it can shift. So that is why we want to make sure whoever does your drywall is doing it right. It is best to cover your drywall with plaster. You want plaster over your boards because if not, the drywall is very delicate. It can be broken easily, it can be damaged easily. So you want, usually once it's hung, you'll see in the picture they have the screws going ever so different spaces apart. They will still, some drywallers will plaster the whole wall, some drywallers will just plaster the screws so that you don't see them. Depends on who your drywaller is. I prefer the plaster. Give me the covering over the whole wall, sand it, paint it, and like make it look nice and pretty and call it a day. I'm a sucker for a smooth wall. If it's not smooth, I have issues. And uneven wall, yes. The question is, is an uneven wall worth fixing? Yes, because it's an easier fix than just saying, oh, it's not a reason to dump a project. If you know a wall is not correct and you want to just go in, you could take down one wall. You don't have to take down all of them. You could take down the one wall and just do it, make sure it's right. But 9 times out of 10, if one wall is defective, probably the rest of them are too, depending on who did the work. And as you guys start to go through these vacant houses or occupied houses, you're going to see over time, homeowners not wanting to call their repair guy and they try to do it themselves and they do jackleg work, as my dad used to say, and they don't fix it correctly. And by not fixing it correctly, they end up passing that problem on to the next homeowner. How many times have you watched the show Love It or Listed on HGTV? It is like one of my all-time favorites. As much as I love Hillary, the designer on the show, she often runs into an issue with a house. Soon as you open up walls, you're going to have issues. You're going to have moisture issues. You're going to have electric issues. You're going to find out the plumbing wasn't done right. You're going to find out that the light fixtures aren't up to code. You're going to find out behind that wall is still knob and tube electric wiring, which has been outdated so long ago. You're going to find out that you don't have the addition that was on the back of the house isn't coded. It was never permitted. So now you have to tear it down. There are things like that that happen all the time. That isn't just not on an HGTV show. That is real life. It happens all the time. So you have to make sure that your structures are what they are to be. And I hope I answered your question. Okay, now let's get into after the drywall. Guess what we get to do? Paint. Isn't that a pretty kitchen? That's an actual flip. That's an actual kitchen that one of my clients did in their flip. I coached her through her first flip, and this was her kitchen. It was amazing. Now, when you paint, choose quality paint, first of all. Please paint before you install your floors, your moldings, and your handrails. And sometimes even like your interior doors. Make sure you paint before you install the moldings around the doors themselves, and everything. Here's why. My biggest pet peeve when flipping a house is somebody who installs the floors and then they don't cover them up. That's my biggest pet peeve. And I'm going to go into more detail on that because this house in particular had some issues with that same thing. Well, not covering up the floors, but some other things. Now, the amount, everybody always asks me, what color should I paint my house? What color should the flip be? Your flip should always be neutral colors. Right now, gray is the hot mama of the paint store. okay? Everybody wants gray. Everybody wants, I don't care what shade of gray it is, everybody wants gray. Here's where you have to pick your poison. I use the same shade of gray in every one of my flips. I don't deviate from it because it's a medium tone gray. It's really pretty. It looks lighter in some rooms, darker in other rooms. It's amazing. It's a beautiful color. And people, excuse me, people often ask me, why do you do that? Because the amount of light that's coming into a room is going to determine how light or dark you paint a room. If you pick a mid-tone, a light to mid-tone color, neutral color, you can't go wrong, because when the sun goes down and there's no light coming through your windows, that room is going to look a shade darker. When it's high noon and the sun is beaming bright through the windows, it's going to look lighter. I have one shade of paint because I have a second shade of paint that we use too. And no matter what house we put this paint in, it looks a different color. In one house, it looked white because there was so much light coming through. In another house, it looked blue. In another house, it looked gray. And that's what you want. You want it to look, I mean, we painted the whole house this color and it looks different in different rooms. And that's fine. It's nothing wrong with that. You just want to make sure that it's a neutral color. Like, look at the kitchen in the picture. She's got neutral, a nice, pretty mid-tone gray. And I wish I could remember the color, the name of the paint right now. I'd give it to you because that is a perfect shade of gray to have in a home. Okay. Another reason why we choose neutral colors. This is not your house. It's not about what you want. You got to leave your personality out of this. This is not your house. You're not going to live here. It's not your choices. Oh, I like pink. So what? Pink is not going to sell a house. And I'm going to tell you why. I like red. I've always wanted a red room. Not because of what you guys are thinking, but I just like this color red. And it was basically in honor of my mom who passed away. Red was her favorite color. So I found a really pretty shade of red and I painted one of our rooms red in our old house. Guess what I had to do when I got ready to sell this house? I had to paint it. When I moved out and I got ready to paint this house, sell this house, I had to paint that wall because I got less money because it was red. Do you know how hard it is to cover red paint? So you cannot do this. Right now, I'm in love with this black and white look. I want to take a room in my house and I want to paint it black. But guess what? When I leave this house, I'm going to have to repaint because you have to have it neutral. When you get ready to sell, it has to be neutral. Neutral, clean, crisp lines are so much cleaner. They're so much better. Look at this picture. This house looks elegant. It looks new. It looks fresh. It looks clean. It looks crisp. This is what you want. Now, there are other little things that you can do in a house like this. Like in this house, she has smart outlets. What's a smart outlet? She doesn't need a phone cube to charge her phone. She can stick the cord right in. She can stick the USB cord right into the outlet. That's a thing now. That's what you have to keep up with. Those little nuances, yes, you can put those little touches in because you're making it convenient for the person who's going to be living there. But you don't want black walls. You don't want red walls. You don't want blue walls. You want neutral colors. Okay? I can't drill this in enough. So after you paint, you are then going to install your flooring. After you paint, you're going to install your flooring. And the reason why I kept that picture there is because I wanted you to take a look at her floor. Look at that floor. That floor was the bane of our existence because when you choose your flooring, you choose your flooring according to the area you're in. Now, in this area where this house is located, hardwood floors are in. It's hot, it's happening. And I'll be honest, hardwood floors are in everywhere. Everybody wants a hardwood floor. However, when you're installing a hardwood floor, you have to understand your floors have to be cured. Your floorboards have to be cured. the room that they're going to be in, you have to have that room the average temperature that the house is going to be for year round, because wood expands and contracts. So 3 days before you install a wood floor, you have to take the boards out of the box and let them breathe. They have to become acclimated to the temperature in the room where they're going to go. Then you can install them. Okay? Don't say I didn't tell you that. And you go and just run and start putting floorboards in. And that's what a lot of people do. This floor, when my client got ready to sell this house, she lost money on the sale because this floor squeaked. It shifted, it moved because it was not installed correctly. We literally had to put the house on the market. The feedback from the house, from the open house and everybody else, was the floor shifted, it moved, it was gapped. It wasn't gapped, it was just the guy who installed it, he installed it too tight. So it like had a dip to it. It had some give to it for some reason. So we had to then have the floor redone. And then we were able to sell the house. Okay, so you have to make sure you cure your floorboards. Take them to the property where they're gonna go. Make sure there's heat in the house. Make sure there's life in the house. That's why you don't put your floors in before anything else. And a lot of people say, well, why don't I put my floor in? Then I'll put my drywall up. Well, first of all, you're gonna scratch your floor, mess it up. And second of all, it's not going to, there's nothing to acclimate wood to it. You have no heat in the house. You have nothing in the house that's keeping it warm. Always, 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 after you paint, install your floors, okay? Once the floors are installed, cover them with protective paper. They have these huge rolls of brown paper at Home Depot. You should put them on the floor. You should put them on your floors, tape them down. My biggest pet peeve out of any project, and my contractors already know, I am going to lose my flipping mind if I walk in here and my floors are down and they're not covered. I don't want a scratch. I don't want a dent. I don't want a scuff mark. I don't want drywall just sitting and drying up on my floor. I don't want paint chips on my floor. I want my floor covered. You can walk on it all you want as long as it's covered. And when you remove the floor and when you remove the paper, I want it cleaned. I am very big on my flips looking just like this picture when it's time for me to sell. Every room in the house has to be crisp, has to be clean, has to be professionally done. We literally, at the end of each flip, and after all the contractors are gone and we've done everything and the inspectors come out and everything is done, we have a professional cleaning crew go into every flip and clean it out. Okay? You might want to do that for yourself. Another thing is when you're doing your floors, make sure you purchase enough flooring. Now, here's what happened to one person that I know who did a flip. It wasn't me, but I did learn the lesson. They went to a flooring store, and I think it's like a lumber liquidator or a kitty carpet or a carpet store, or whatever. One of the flooring stores, they have all these flooring materials. And they took the measurements for the floor. And I don't know if they measured it wrong or if the contractor measured it wrong. However, they bought the flooring. Well, the flooring came out to be like maybe 12 by 12, which is 144 square feet. And so you needed 144 square feet of flooring. Well, the flooring only came in maybe, I think it had like 20 to 30 square feet. So you have to learn how to do the math. And you have to take 144 and divide it by how many come in that box to get how many boxes you need. Well, theirs came out to be like maybe 2.5 or something like that. We'll just use that for round numbers. It had a fraction on it, had some left over. Oh, we'll be fine because we'll be measuring some of the boards. Fine. Okay, great. Well, at the end of the installation, they needed another box. Guess what the store didn't have? That particular brand anymore because they bought the closeout. They bought the clearance materials. Now, I'm not saying don't buy the clearance materials because that's where you're going to save a lot of money. But what I am saying is this: if they don't have enough for your floor, don't buy it. So if you need 144 square feet and they only have 140, don't think you're going to get 4 extra square feet out of that box somewhere, because you're not. So what they ended up doing is putting, not putting the flooring underneath the appliances. So when you have to replace the appliances, you now have to replace that floor. I mean, good thing the appliances usually last 5 to 10 years, so that's not a problem, but it was just really, really funny when they did it. And I'm looking, I'm like, that's not gonna work for you, but okay. You can't do that. Make sure you order enough. If your calculation comes out that you need 10.5 boxes, buy 11 boxes. It's better to have leftover than not enough. Because stores don't always carry this stuff. They carry stuff in seasons. So today they might have bamboo flooring, tomorrow they may not. So you have to get what you can get while you can get it. Okay? All right. Okay. Yeah. Now, the majority of, and here's the thing about flooring. Everybody asks me, what's the best flooring to put down? I hate carpet. There, I said it. I am a carpet racist. Okay. I don't like carpet. Mind you, I have wall-to-wall carpet in my house. I hate it. I like hardwood floors. I like tile floors. I don't like the carpet because to me, carpet holds a few things that I don't want in my house: dust and odor. Yes, we're clean people and we vacuum all the time, but if you have pets, pets don't have a clean factor. If you have kids, they don't have a clean factor. Have you ever spilled milk on carpet and thought you got it out, and then a week later you're smelling something, you don't know what it is? It's milk. It got up underneath your carpet, it's soaked into your padding, and now your house smells like puke. So I don't like carpet. Now I will, in a tag 716 flip, you will find carpet. Because guess what? It's not my house. And where you will find carpet is in the bedrooms. Because I'm fine with carpet in bedrooms. I am not fine with carpet in my living room. I'm fine with carpet in the family room because I understand kids like to get on the floor. People like to lay on the floor. I've laid on the floor before and watched TV because all the, if you got people over, people are sitting on the floor and the carpet there. Everybody's nice and, everybody's just hanging out. So those are 2 rooms that will have carpet: the family room and the bedrooms. Because I don't like hardwood in bedrooms. Believe it or not, I don't. Hardwood adds more value than carpet. And that's one thing people are going to have to understand and realize. So our flips usually have hardwood or tile. We have wood floors or tile in the main areas of the house: the kitchen, the bathrooms, the living room, the dining room. And we will have carpet in the family room, excuse me, and the bedrooms. Excuse me. So that's where it is. That's what we do. That's our real estate. I mean, like I said, I don't care how many different flips you see me do, you will never see carpet in a living room. A family room, yes. I got talked into it on a recent flip that we did. And as soon as they talked me into it, I was like, yeah, it looks nice. I don't have anything against the way it looks. I think it's great. It's just not my style. And my investment partner, she said the same thing. She's the same way. She doesn't like carpet either, but it worked for that house. Like we said, it's not our house. We sold the house, we took our money, we kept it going. So that's what you want. So with that being said, you guys are probably wondering why I didn't say our favorite word. Every day this week, we've gone over inspections. Now, usually, once you get past your rough works that we talked about yesterday, which was the plumbing, the HVAC, and the electric, and the inspector comes out, he allows you to close up the walls. Well, once you close up the walls, there's really nothing for him to inspect. So this section of your flip normally does not have inspections, but don't be surprised if your inspector doesn't pop over for a visit, because they do that, and they do it to catch you off guard. They do it to catch you using a tool or doing a process or installing something that is not legal or not supposed to be there, or the off chance that you're doing something that you're not supposed to be doing. Maybe you opened up a wall to add something else now after they already signed off on it. They do it to catch you doing things and try to trip you up. So don't do that, okay? Your inspector, even though there's nothing for him to inspect, now it's basically you're gonna wait for the walls to go up. The next section, our final section tomorrow, is called Make It Pretty. It's the makeup section. It's the cosmetics of the house. And it's the things that we don't look at when we originally go to look at a house to see if we want to flip it. That's the stuff that we're going to look at tomorrow. So with that being said, as always, you can reach us on our social media outlets. We are at Trinity Alliance Group of Buffalo, Inc. on Facebook. We are at tag.716 on Instagram. Our YouTube channel, which will be full of all of these videos which you can go back and reference, that is simply labeled tag 716. And on Twitter, you can hit us up and hashtag us in tag 716_team. Our affiliates is our tag 716 wholesale network. We have a network of wholesalers out there ready to find properties for you potential investors. All you gotta do is reach out to us. You can reach us on our email address at info@tag716.com. You can also reach us on our phone number, which is 716. Hold on, let me find it because I always forget it because I never call it. It is 716-226-6961. You can watch us and follow our videos, and these videos will be referenced on our Lunch and Learn on our YouTube channel. And we have our business network and mastermind Facebook group, which is free of charge, Tag 716 Network, Mastermind, and Facebook. On Facebook. Now our Tag 716 Wholesale Network is a paid Facebook group. We do have education and wholesaling and investing and building portfolios. That's everything that they get to do. They also have a incentive program where they get a commission split of 60-40 or 75-25, depending on the setup of the deal. And we use our Tag 716 network of attorneys and title companies, inspectors, and things like that to assist them with everything that they need. If you're interested in joining anything like that, you can shoot us an email at info@tag.716. info@tag716.com. We'll be more than happy to assist and get you guys out there. Now, if you, my lovelies, have any questions, let me know. I'm here for it. All righty, we have no questions. I will see you tomorrow for our final installment, phase 5 of flipping a house. This is where we make it pretty. We trim everything out. We put in our nice pretty tile backsplashes, and we make it look like the home that you go see when you go to look for a house. That will be tomorrow. It might be a little longer than the 30 minutes that we normally have for our lunch and learns. But I want you guys to continue to be safe, continue to stay focused, and continue to be prosperous. You have a blessed day. We will see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you guys. Have a great night.